The Pulse Network. It's what's next now. Hi, everybody. I'm Butch Stearns again here at the CSN Stores headquarters in downtown Boston from the Pulse Network at thepulsenetwork.com. We're talking marketing. We're talking the future of marketing. We're talking about the upcoming event, FutureM. We're joined by a lot of different people here today, and joining me right now is Rob May from a company called Backupify. Welcome, Rob. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Now, you're one of those people who started a company elsewhere in Lexington, Kentucky, and moved to Massachusetts. Deval Patrick loves you.
Yeah, so we actually, we could not find in Kentucky the kind of technical talent that we needed for the cutting edge stuff that we're doing. So basically 3 places in the country we could go: Silicon Valley, New York, or Boston. We looked at all 3, and ultimately Boston was the best choice for us.
Talk about Backupify. Tell us what it is, what you do.
So we provide a backup system for cloud data. So if you move your company to Google Apps and you want to back up your email, or if you have compliance requirements like companies in regulated industries that use Twitter and Facebook to communicate with their customers, sometimes they have regulatory requirements. We provide a service for that. So we don't do any PC backup or any of that. It's all data in the cloud.
When did you start your company? How big is it growing? How fast is it growing?
So it's about 2.5 years ago. We have about 160,000 customers. We have 17 employees. 15 of those employees are here in Boston now. We still have two guys back in Kentucky, but we're trying to convince them to move up here as well. So things are going well.
Now, you're here in Boston. I want to talk to you in general about marketing, the future of marketing, about the FutureM event, and about all that's going on. Talk about marketing in general, how you market your products and services, how marketing has changed, how digital media has changed everything, how you've kept up.
Yeah, so one of the things that I did when we were raising money, I was a very early blogger. I started blogging in 2003, and I actually was able to sell my blog in 2008 for a decent chunk of money. The reason I could do that is because I had written a couple of classic posts over the years that continued to bring traffic in month after month. And we think about that as we build out Backupify. We think about the keywords that we want to own. We think about how to organically own those. We think a lot about inbound marketing and ways to find people at different points in the buying process and bring them into Backupify with free tools, with white papers, with different kinds of...
Is your blog your name, Rob May?
No, actually, it's my personal blog is called Coconut Headsets. That's a long story.
Jimmy Buffett fan?
No, so...
Okay, we'll leave it alone.
Okay.
If you wanted to tell the story, you would.
Yeah, it's just a long story. But yeah, you know, what's different about our product is when you're going to a new market, you have a very evangelical type of sale. A lot of times people aren't looking for you. There's not enough demand that you can just tap into. You have to create demand. You have to find interesting ways to find people who are in the mindset. You know, we sell, like, our most popular product is a Google Apps backup product. So we try to think about how do we capture people at the moment that they're making the decision about whether or not to move from Exchange to Google Apps.
Interesting. So I want to ask you about Boston in particular. What have you found encouraging since you came here? I'm a native New Englander. I've grown up here, but I've worked in Chicago, Detroit, and Minneapolis. I was a mainstream broadcaster, but now partnered up with local guys, the Saber Brothers, and we started, it's a year and a half old now, the Pulse Network, thepulsenetwork.com, and we're trying to become a solution in the digital age of not only creating content, but we have a social media agency, we have events companies, so it's multi-platform and has to be mobile and all that stuff. But in New England, some people say there are a lot of challenges and there's obstacles to do that, but you came up here. Are you finding that it's a fertile place? Obviously for talent it is.
Yeah, so everything I see is pointing in the right direction. Some people here will say that, you know, there's not the kinds of investors that'll put money into, aggressive, big hit or totally flame out kinds of consumer companies, but at least 2 of the investors that are in Backupify I know will do that. You know, one of my investors was in Zynga's A round. And he invested at a time when people looked at Zynga and went, you can't build a company on the back of Facebook, right? And there are people here that have the vision, and as more young entrepreneurs cash out and things like that, you know, those guys are becoming angels, and they're doing a lot of stuff. So I see a lot of activity. I see a lot of interesting companies getting funded, but it doesn't happen overnight, right? You have to build these companies over years, and I think Boston's definitely on the right track.
And final question, FutureM, were you involved in the event last year, and what do you think about the event this year?
I didn't go last year because I was traveling back and forth between here and Kentucky, so I was pretty pressed for time. But yeah, definitely would love to go this year and looking forward to it.
Nice talking with you, Rob. Nice to meet you.
You too. Thank you.
All right. My pleasure. Rob May from Backupify. It's Butch Stearns from the Pulse Network at thepulsenetwork.com talking about FutureM.